Okay, we're live. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. So we're not really gonna have like a straight topic to really kind of go off of. I'm just checking in with everybody. First live stream of 2019, and it probably won't be a long one. But so I kind of woke up late today and ended up sleeping very late. So I'm pretty late with this live stream compared to when I wanted to do it. I actually wanted to do the stream early in the morning while everyone was still asleep, but better late than never. So, yeah, one of the things I love to do, I love to basically keep up with all the latest news that's going on. And so, in Google News, in the technology tab, some of the first things that I see here mention Apple. So and it's not a good mention of Apple. I mean, one of them is Apple took out an ad in Las Vegas to have it plastered on the side of a hotel. It says, "What happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone." So that's like, it's kind of funny, cliche thing to take from Las Vegas, one of Las Vegas's quotes. But yeah, Apple in the news, and not for very good things. You have issues with the bent iPad Pro. You have Qualcomm on their heels, basically getting iPhones banned in certain countries. The most recent one that they went after was in Germany, and but I mean, Apple kind of beat them to the punch, anyways. They pulled their iPhone 7s and 8s out of these Apple stores in Germany, and it hasn't really been a good end of year of 2018 and beginning of 2019 for Apple. That's kind of sad. Without like all this tech cover or anything like that, just as an average person, when it comes to the iPad Pro and it being bent, just the questions that raise in my mind is that why doesn't Apple just admit there's a problem? I mean, admitting that there's a problem doesn't necessarily mean that, you're a bad company. I think it's brave for companies to admit faults. If they engineer something that turns out to be crap, I think it's very brave of a company to step out there and say, hey, we messed up. So this is what we're going to do to fix it. They did state that Apple will or has a support page for the bent iPad Pros. So that's this support page. Like, how about doing some replacements, like, redesigning the iPad Pro, or if there's whatever is causing it to bend that way, like the flaw in the engineering of the hardware, fix it, and what do you think Apple needs to do to get back on track? Well, first of all, they gotta stop. They really need to actually just stop trying to downplay every issue that's coming along, especially what happened with that one person who had I don't know if it was an iPhone 10s Max or if it was a 10. I don't remember, but the iPhone that basically exploded and whatnot. Like, Apple is not a perfect company, and by no means does that make them, second rate or third rate. No company is absolutely perfect in what they do, and that's something that I feel like that Apple has to get a grip on. They have to understand that they didn't build something correctly. Like, it has a flaw to it. The iPad Pro bends. So instead of and I don't know how true that statement was that The Verge put out there, where they claimed that they got in touch with Apple and that Apple had told them that it's normal that the iPad Pro should be able to do that. When we know that Apple was or is not currently developing foldable technology, so to say that the iPad Pro bending is normal, and that they really weren't going to do nothing about it. And I don't know how true The Verge was with that. A lot of people are believing in it only because The Verge has always been pro Apple, and so a lot of people feel like that statement that they put out there, that they claimed that Apple had said, would hold water. I mean, I don't know. For me, you know, if I was the CEO of that company, like I would be damn ashamed of what's going on. What up? Who's your carrier now? Google Fi is my carrier, so I no longer have Boost Mobile. But I don't know. I mean, you know, Apple has done it before. I know that they've gone down in the past before. You know, with the Apple II. The Apple II wasn't making much sales, and they had the Macintosh project, and that didn't do as what they needed it to do. So, what was my favorite phone of 2018? I'm gonna have to go with the Stylo 4 for its good and bads. But I mean, the Stylo 4 would probably be like my favorite phone of 2018 as far as budget phones that I've had. Is Google Fi more expensive? It can be. Um, Let me just touch base with that. So if you're a person that's really wanting to have unlimited data, then don't go with Google Fi. Um, because you have options out there like Metro, Boost, and Cricket, and you know, you get unlimited data services with them, and you know, you pay like a flat rate. Google Fi is more for people who don't use a lot of data or have home Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi connections where they go. Like for me, I don't use. I guess you can consider that. Don't use a lot of data. I think right now, currently, where I'm standing at 3 gigs of data used so far, and 18 days left in my bill cycle. So mostly where I go with like, you know, in my city, because there's a lot of Wi-Fi hotspots in my city, and with Google Fi you have access to them. So I'm always really connected to Wi-Fi in most places that I go. I think the only time that I'm really on like the network data itself and actually pulling data from that is, you know, when I'm driving, and or if I'm in an area that doesn't have a Wi-Fi hotspot. So like in my house, I have home Wi-Fi. In downtown Phoenix, there's like Wi-Fi hotspots everywhere. There's Starbucks on different corners, and when I'm going through them, my phone smart connects to them, and then it hands off to the next hotspot that I go to. So it's pretty cool how Google Fi works. But no, if you're a person that depends on unlimited data and you want hotspot, Google Fi is probably not for you. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Um, but yeah, Apple, I mean, they could make a comeback if they start thinking the way that Steve Jobs was thinking when he was alive. I think that Apple can come out of the dirt that they're in. But you know, if they continue, you know, with this pride that's pretty much killing them, they're going to continue to keep falling. You know, we already know that Apple pretty much hit that glass ceiling as far as how much people are willing to pay for an iPhone. And I know like different tech reviewers are throwing it out there. Some are like, you know, the new iPhones were flops. Some are like, no, they're selling really good. They're not really selling that good. And it's not based off the numbers that these tech reviewers are pulling from. I'm just looking at reality itself. How many people are really rushing out? Because you know, when you look back at the days of the older iPhones, right? When a new iPhone was released, a lot of people were chasing after it. Like you didn't need to watch YouTube to know that these phones were selling. You just had to go out into the world and see people going into the Apple store coming out with the latest iPhone, or the people that have already bought the latest iPhone walking around and carrying it like, you know, with like so much excitement and pride and playing around with it, right? You don't see that with the iPhone 10s, 10s Max, or 10R. You don't see that kind of action happening out there. And that's not to say that they don't sell. They do sell. You know, there are people who are literally waiting, to have their upgrade to get these devices too. So I mean, there's still people who have upgrades coming up here that are probably going to upgrade to the latest iPhones. But it's the amount that these phones cost. Apple has really hit that glass ceiling of what people are willing to pay for a smartphone. A high amount like that is not very good. And you kind of notice too, I don't know if you guys noticed this, a trend, but once the iPhone 10s, 10s Max came out, and like not for the base amounts, but for the high amounts, they're pretty expensive. Like 1,500 was it for like a higher amount on the 10s Max. What's your opinion on display notches? I don't care for them. I don't care for notches. I don't care for, Like those things don't really bother me. Notches, bezels, they don't really bother me. I know everyone really wants to have a really cool looking phone that's like all screen display and it looks like you're just carrying a piece of glass, but I mean that's just looks. That doesn't really do anything other than just look like there's nothing but a piece of glass with information on it. Notches don't really bother me, but it's not a big deal, you know. Now, what is a big deal is every company doing the same thing. I said that in when I said that 2018 smartphones are very boring. Some people didn't like what I had to say, and okay, you know, everyone can disagree with me if they want to, but I just thought that just about every smartphone released in 2018 had a notch. They all had a notch. You know, one device would come out and look exactly like the next one, and that's, to me, that's boring when you have phones look the same, especially manufacturers who build devices and use Android. Android's slogan a couple of years back was "Be together, not the same." But with all these notches, that kind of defeats that slogan. And I know Google has no control over what LG and everyone else does, so no, it is what it is. But I just thought it was very plain Jane and boring. There was nothing exciting about it. Like, I was excited for foldable phones in a way, but even though I knew, like, you know, it's just foldable phones, but I mean that just was different from seeing another phone come out with a notch. When is Google Plus going down? I need to delete my profile before then. Apparently they said that it's going to go down sooner than August. They didn't give a specific time frame, but I'm thinking like in the next couple of months, only because they claim another security breach happened with Google Plus. And I mean, I don't know. I really don't know about this security breach and Google Plus, because it's kind of odd. I'm going to point this out here. So they're going to shut down public access for Google Plus, but they're going to leave Google Plus for businesses. Now, if you have, like, you know, security issues, why would businesses still have access to that platform? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why would they have access to that platform? I don't know. I just think it's crazy. Like, you know, if they're gonna leave it open for businesses, leave it open for everybody. Just fix the damn thing. That's all I'm gonna say. Just fix the damn thing. Because, you know, I tried MeWe. I was gonna do a review video about it, but I mean, there's really no reason to. You know, MeWe is cool and everything like that, but I mean, there's just, you know, to maintain the servers, you know, they charge for different things. Like, they charge for emojis, they charge for this. I mean, I tried a video call on it, and it said that I ran out of my the amounts of times that I could you know, video call from my smartphone, and so I had to pay, you know, to video call one of my friends on MeWe. I'm just like, there's too much charges on this, and so that's gonna be like roadblocks for people who don't want to pay for subscriptions and things like that, right? So I think, you know, really just when Google Plus goes down, Twitter is just gonna be it for me. You know, Twitter's really it. Google Plus seems like malware now. Yeah. You can say that, and that's just because, you know, Google has a bad rap of just literally, you know, they don't focus on their products, their services. You know, like they'll focus on it for a while, and then when they feel like that nobody's really using it, then they'll just like, oh, okay, they'll just let it be. I mean, one of the main complaints of Google Plus was that there were so many dead profiles that no one was even using, and Google hadn't even scrubbed the service to get rid of those. Will Google Plus shutting down also take my channel down because it looks tied in together? No, it's not going to take down any YouTube channels. What initially will happen when Google Plus goes down basically is that your YouTube channel is not going to be linked to it. So your channel will be your channel. I was going to go to MeWe too, but said no thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's a refreshing platform. It's just because they don't have any connections for ad revenue to you know make some money off of ads being run through their social platform. They charge for a lot of things. I mean, and I don't know. I feel like MeWe is kind of like the same thing that, like, you know, what happened with what the hell was that? VidMe. Don't mind my kids. But I don't know if you guys remember VidMe. VidMe was charging for a lot of things too, and then yeah, it just completely crashed. So I I don't know if MeWe is going to hold out strong. I have a profile on there. I have a couple of pages created on there. And we'll see how the platform goes. But I mean, right now, I'm not holding out for it to last very long. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, Google Plus is not going to affect YouTube at all whatsoever. And that's not going to kill any channels on YouTube or anything like that. Just basically, your channel won't be dependent on a Google Plus page to edit. So if you want to change your YouTube name, it's going to all be done through YouTube. It's not going to be done having to go to like Google Plus. As a matter of fact, more than anything, your YouTube channel is actually connected to your Google profile, and that's in a way kind of separated from Google Plus. Because even when Google Plus goes down, you'll still be able to go to about yourself on Google. So like about.google.com, and you'll be able to edit your name and contact information and stuff like that. Do I have any predictions for prepaid phones and services in 2019? No, I don't, because 2018 kind of shocked me. Like, I really thought that innovation was going to continue to move at the pace that I was doing, or at least kick up more, double time. But 2018 turned out to be regurgitate, repeat. Notch, 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 and stack and dual stackable camera. So it's like, I don't know if OEMs are going to get their head out of their asses and do something completely different in 2019 and say, all right, enough's enough. We've pretty much like slaughtered the design of the iPhone 10. Let's do our own thing again. Or if they're just going to continue that. I mean, Android 9, to be honest, is not bad. I mean, I'm used to it and everything like that. I wish that the gestures on Android 9.0 were a little bit more finely tuned. Like, if I swipe up from the bottom, from where that little home bar is at the very bottom, and you swipe, if you're trying to pull up the app drawer, it's kind of annoying when it first shows, recent apps, and then as you're sliding up all the way, then it brings up your app drawer. That's annoying. I mean, they should have just finely tuned that. In 2018, tech flatlined pretty much, hit its peak and stagnated. Yeah, I could agree with that. I could agree with that, Warrior. It did. They just, let me just kind of like take that flatline part. Yeah, but it's just more of like they got lazy. It was like, it was too hard. This is how I felt when OEMs were constantly releasing new phones. It just felt like they were too lazy to come up with a design. So they looked at what they figured was a hot commodity out there, which was the iPhone's new restyled design, and they were like, yeah, we'll do that too. We'll make a notch, but we'll purpose the notch in our way. Like, we'll put 2 cameras on it, or we'll put 1 camera on it and it does this, or do you think budget phones like Moto E and Samsung J will still have 2 gigabytes of RAM? No, I think in 2019, one thing I will predict is that budget devices will now have 32 gigs. Maybe still 2 gigs of RAM or 3, but they will base out at 32 gigabytes, because it just seems like everything's just kind of pushing towards that already. Like, we're, when we used to have 8 gigs of internal storage and 1 gigabyte of RAM, and then 16 started coming out, with various different devices, and then all of a sudden the next year after that, it was like 16s all the way. I think that's going to happen this year. Hey, Tito, I had to suck it up. And retire my Moto 4. Got the Galaxy S9 Plus. That's nice. That's pretty cool. How's the S9 Plus working out for you? So yeah, I'm expecting 32/3. So 32 gigs onboard storage, 3 gigs of RAM at least going forward. It's good, yeah. I would say so. I mean, I see a lot of people going after the Galaxy S9 Plus, just as it's I believe it's dropped down in price. So that's a good thing. Couldn't deal with low memory. Yeah. These days, especially with the way applications are, like, applications have beefed up in size too. So you're going to need more storage. You're going to need more RAM to push these things. I mean, right now, I know I unboxed another Moto X4 the other day as I ported one of the lines from my Boost Mobile family plan that I used to have. I ported it over to Google Fi, and I was like, I unboxed it and I was like, man, I should have got this phone. I mean, not only for the colorway, for the sterling blue, which actually looks silver, but for the storage amount, because my Moto X4 is the 32 3 GB variant, and I'm already really kind of pushing a lot of internal storage being used up without even having a lot of applications on my phone. So I think right now I'm at 24 gigabytes used out of 32. And one other thing that was kind of depressing about the Moto X4 is that it doesn't have adaptable storage. 2019 with 5G, when a phone explodes, it will blow your head off. Your predictions? Yeah, I don't know. Lately, on some past videos where I talked about 5G and stuff, I've had some people comment about, ELF and radiations, which is why I did that video. I know a lot of people weren't going to be really interested in knowing about that, but it was just more of because, like, one, the person that commented was a content creator himself, and so I commented back to him and told him to make a video discussing why he thinks that 5G is going to give you brain cancer immediately and whatever else he was saying. And I told him that if he did the video, that I would link his video and kind of share it with everybody so people can go and check it out. I got no response back from the person, and they never made the video. So I was like, okay, I'll just make a quick video talking about ELF and different everyday appliances that emit this type of radiation. But people got to understand that this radiation that's being admitted to us in day-to-day life is not just through smartphones. It's also through laptops that are Wi-Fi capable, your Wi-Fi router. There's different things, baby monitors and stuff like that. And it's not on the level that's going to kill you immediately, compared to something like going and getting an X-ray done. That has, millions of cycles per second, compared to a smartphone that kicks maybe about 40 to 50, cycles per second. So lately there's been a lot of things about that. I guess it's because of the fact that, some carriers are relying on microcells to push 5G. So we'll see. Do I think Android Go is a flop? No, I actually don't think Android Go is a flop. I think people's expectations of what they want Android Go to be is misguided a little bit. So it's apparent. Google's made it very well known that Android Go is to be run on devices that OEMs build that are spec'd very low. So $20 phones, $15 phones, that's what Android Go was targeted for. It was just basically to be a light version of Android that can run on devices that yield, 512 megabytes of RAM to 1 gigabyte of RAM, and be able to still provide a steady experience. So it was not ever intended to be on something budget. And now budget has pretty much lost its definition. Budget is not really so much budget anymore. It's like the closest thing you can get to a premium experience, sub $250. That's now classified as budget. So Android Go is supposed to run on something that's like, I don't know, toyish. Something that you would give a 7-year-old to use. That's what I think Android Go is for. Anyone says in my comments that it should have 2 gigabytes of RAM, I have to explain that's not the point of Android Go phones. Yeah, it's not. Android Go phones was never meant to, be on a device sub $250 that, it's not meant for that. It's meant to run. And the real purpose of Android Go is for Android devices in countries where they don't have a well-developed infrastructure like the United States, Europe, China, Japan, Korea. Like those countries, they have a well-developed infrastructure for mobile data connectivity. But there are still countries that don't have that kind of connection. Like I know in Cambodia, they don't have that kind of connection. I know this because my cousins travel from Thailand to Cambodia, and they, when they go there, they can't really use Facebook or anything like that because of the data speeds out there and the latency and whatnot. Doesn't allow them to really do all these things that we do on a day-to-day basis with our smartphones. And that's what Android Go was for. It was really for that. It was just to really just market these cheap Android devices with an operating system that could handle what you throw at it, for areas that didn't have the best cellular connectivity and best data connections. So that's what it was for. Android One is actually the replacement to Nexus. And that one everyone should know already by now. And then Pixel is basically Google's like, that's our flagship, Pixels. Which I'm getting a lot of crap from people that I know of. What's my current phone? The Moto X4. I have the Moto X4 as my daily driver, and then I have my Nextbit Robin with a data-only SIM card from Google Fi. So it doesn't actually have a phone line, like a phone number, but it has LTE connection. And I use this as a secondary phone just for whatever. So those are the two phones I basically carry around. I am, some of you guys might laugh or question why, because I'm getting this from my friends. They're like, why the hell are you going to go and buy that phone? It's like 3 years old. But I am hell-bent, either by the end of this month or beginning of February, I will have the original Pixel XL. And I don't know, I just want that phone. Okay, I have no rhyme or reason why I'm getting it. It's not, for really specifications or having, the latest and greatest in tech. I just want a Pixel XL. And like right now on Swappa, I found a couple that were in great condition being sold for like $185. So not a bad steal at all whatsoever. If I can negotiate and drop that down to like 150, then I'll buy it. I'll buy it and use it as my daily driver. I know it does run Android Pie, so I'm not really worried about it actually having an outdated operating system on it. But I don't know, I guess, call me a fanboy if you guys want. That's totally fine. I'm okay with it. I've always rocked Android and I've always rocked with Google, and I can stand here today and tell people that I've never used an iPhone as a daily driver. And it doesn't mean that nobody else should. It's just, that's just me. Like, I am immersed in the Google ecosystem. And so, I guess it's like, I don't want to say collectible because Pixels aren't collectible, but it has that same context. I'm getting a original Pixel XL because I want the very first original Pixel XL. And you've never used an iPhone? Okay. I have colleagues that use iPhones and they love it. They absolutely love the hell out of it. And I've went into an Apple store with friends. I've played around with iPhones. I've seen what they can do. A good buddy of mine, Justin, has an iPhone, and I've seen what it can do. And there's nothing against it. But I just, I stay on this side of the play. I'm with Google on that. And so I use Android, and it's never failed me. It's never steered me wrong, And I don't know, maybe my expectations aren't as high as everybody else's. But I look for, user experience above everything. I judge a phone on user experience. And why is my son making that noise? I tell you right now, my son is like, he's going to be 4 this year. And it blows my mind on just how quickly he's picking up on things. So right now, and I don't know if he was playing around or what. Yo, Oscar, what's going on, man? How's it going? Again, I'm very sorry about late streaming. I know I was supposed to do this early in the morning, and I ended up not doing that. So it's like 1:29 p.m. my time right now. What are you guys? Let me turn the tables around and start asking you guys questions. But what are you guys excited for CES? Just out of curiosity. And what kind of tech do you expect that's actually going to show its face at CES this year? As me personally, I'm looking forward to CES. I'm looking forward to coverage for CES. And oh my gosh, are they destroying my house? I'm looking for coverage on CES, but I'm also very stoked for Google I/O this year, just to kind of see what steps they're making. And hopefully Google Smart pulls the head out of their ass and the next Pixel devices don't have a notch. I can see why the Pixel 3 is very popular over its big brother, the 3XL. And I don't think people really like that notch, no matter what Google purposed the notch for. I want to see more about foldable phones. Yes, and no notch. Yeah, foldable phones, cool. I think it was Xiaomi that put out one. Did you guys see the one that Xiaomi put out? It like folds 3 ways. It folds, opens up as a tablet, and you can fold one end, fold it back, and just have it. I don't know. Some people are trashing that phone, and I don't even know how it runs, so I'm not going to say it runs perfect. But just the concept of it folding like that was pretty cool. I have to say. I think that's pretty cool. Foldable technology is going to be great, in a way. Sure, right now it's in its infancy, so we can't expect the greatest things out of it. But just imagine that you basically have a real all-in-one. If you have, a tablet that can fold up into a smartphone size display and unfold into a tablet size, and then have like a micro keyboard to dock with it to turn it into a micro laptop. I mean, that's like all in one. You want to see better cameras on phones? It's going to be too expensive at first. Like everything with technology, it goes down in price, right? Like when it first is introduced, it's introduced and marketed at a high amount. 4 or 5 years down the road, that same technology will then be marketed for like between like $100 to $200. So better cameras on phones, yes. You know what? And that's crazy when you kind of think about it. How far we've gone with smartphone cameras, and not like the amount of camera sensors that they put into a phone, because I know some companies, whether it's a good idea or not, they're radically putting like so many damn cameras in their phones, and it's just bad. I mean, seeing I almost dropped the rocket, but seeing a phone that has like 5 cameras, like they have like a big old sensor right here with like 5 dots, and that just looks stupid in my opinion. It just looks dumb as heck. And even though like, okay, like it's subjective to people that the Pixel 3 has the best camera or may not have the best camera, but the fact that Google does not need to put more than 1 camera on the back and 1 on the front, well, the 3XL is different. Let me take that back, because the 3XL has 2. I think the 3 has 2 also, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I've been out of the loop for a while. But there's a fact that they can get good picture shots. I mean, I've used the Pixel 3's camera on my Moto X4, and it just like completely cleared up a lot of my photos that I take with the Moto X4, which I was very, very damn surprised about it. But for them to rely on 1 rear camera sensor, 1 main camera sensor in the back, and be able to produce those kinds of photos, versus companies that's coming out with 5 cameras on them, 6 cameras on them, 3 cameras on them. I mean, it's insane. I mean, the camera is part of the reason that you get a best shot, but you also have to think of image processing, which I've said 2 years ago. The image processing is part of that. And without, good image processing along with a good camera sensor, you're not going to get really good shots. But if you think how far we've come with, camera smartphones or even camera phones, how phones today are taking photos that cannot be, quickly told which one is from a DSLR, and which one is from an actual smartphone. I mean, that is crazy. Getting messages left and right. Yeah, it's not all about megapixels. Yeah, of course it's not. And go back to the removable batteries. When you get a phone, excuse me 1 second. Let me talk to my son real quick. Get along, play nice. Whew, kids. If you don't have kids, you're golden. I'm just joking. Kids are amazing because they keep you on your toes. But yeah, going back to that, removable batteries. Yeah, that'd actually be cool. No, they're camera shy. They, like I would try to bring them in. I mean, my son will probably jump on camera, but right now, he's like busy terrorizing his older sister. So like she has the toys out there, and he's like trying to collect them all for himself. And I just want them to get along. Yeah, I have 5 total. 4 that live with me, 1 that lives with my ex-wife. I don't know, kids. I guess kids are awesome, and 5. My oldest one is 14. My youngest is 3. But I will say that for being 36 years old, because I'm going to be 37 this year, and I'm dreading it. I have like 7 months to go, and then I'll hit the big 37. But some people don't know that I'm in my 30s. Some people mistaken me for my late 20s, and I'll tell them it's because of my kids that I'm so young. Because like me and my kids, we'll play toys. We'll have a lot of fun doing that, and hanging out at the park. I mean, I take him to the park. We have a blast together, especially my youngest son. Like, he keeps me on my toes, and we run around and have fun and play. We play Star Wars. If he takes the lightsabers out and kind of like cracks me over the head with it. But yeah, they keep me young, so kids are awesome. But yeah, I want to see removable batteries. That would be cool to see again. I mean, actually, I can pull out a phone that has a removable battery just for old time's sakes. I still have my drawer full of phones, even though like I'm not going to really be using them anymore. Oh, here we go. A bit of nostalgia for you guys, right? Let's take that out, and boom, battery. Removable battery. That's a bit of nostalgia there. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these phones. I might actually no, I do know what I'm gonna do with these phones. I'm actually gonna donate them to the what's it called again? It is the national hang on. And then if you guys want to donate to this place too, you guys can. If you guys have any old phones, it doesn't have to be a smartphone. It could be a flip phone, but it's for people who are staying in shelters because of domestic violence. So, where is there? Not the hotline, where you can donate to. Okay, the NNEDV. How did I not remember that? I knew it was like NN something, but yeah. So this webpage basically gives you all kinds of information regarding people who are being who are victims from domestic violence. And one of the things that they do take that you can donate and support to them is if you have any old phones, because what they do is they get those phones on, not unlocked, but they connect some sort of service to the phones and allow people who are staying in these shelters to be able to call loved ones, and to be able to let their loved ones know that they're okay, that they're out of that bad situation. I mean, they can't tell them what shelter they're staying at because they are being hidden away for their protection, but at least they could reach out to their family, their loved ones. Is BlackBerry still making phones? Yeah, they still make phones. I mean, they don't have their own operating system on their BlackBerries. They run Android, but yeah, they still make phones. Stylo battery, yeah, it is. National Phone Museum? Oh, I mean, I don't know. I probably would, donate something pretty cool to them. But most of these phones that I have, I'm not really doing anything with them anymore. I don't have Boost Mobile, so they serve no purpose really to be used. So I'm just gonna give them away to those shelters, and even some of like the homeless shelters too, where people who are under bad circumstances came to a city and ended up being homeless, and they don't have a way of contacting family and loved ones back home for help. So just doing something nice. I mean, we don't have to wait for specific moments to do something nice for somebody else. You can always do that every day. You can hand $1, whether your mind tells you that person's a drunk or a druggie or whatever or whatnot. I mean, we're always so quick to judge people, and we really shouldn't. So, if the person wants something to eat, then, if you don't really trust them as far as what they're saying, if you think they're going to go and use that money and buy drugs and hurt themselves further, you don't have to give them money. You can go and you can buy them a sandwich and a drink. You can buy them a meal. Like, I like to buy meals from like, McDonald's, Burger King, or KFC, whatever fast food joint is around. And not just something small, but like something filling. I think one of the craziest things that my family did was, there was a homeless person around Thanksgiving time. We actually went and we got him like an entire meal from Church's Chicken. And I mean, like, we got him like a bucket of chicken and biscuits, side of mash, side of coleslaw, just everything. And it's just for one person, but I wanted them to, enjoy a nice hot meal. But not just one hot meal and then go home, but then, be able to eat later on in that day, just to have a good feast. You can always, if you could do something good for somebody, it is your moral responsibility to do those good things. That's the way that I see it in life. Hey, what's up, Mills? What's going on, man? Whoppers are good. And I hate it today that Whoppers cost more than 99 cents. Because I remember when I was young, I could buy a Whopper for 99 cents. That's awesome. You will still reap the benefits of your kindness regardless how they use it. But yes, food is always good. Yeah, but I really don't want the the benefits from doing something kind. I want it passed forward. So I'm hoping that if by me doing a kind gesture for somebody, if that person reaches even like the highest level of success in life, that they will look back and remember that somebody did something nice for them, so that they should do something nice for somebody else. The whole pay it forward thing is not a cliche thing. It's a real thing that should go around. You spread kindness. You do something nice for somebody, and then in turn, they do something nice for somebody. Like one of my favorite things is like at the grocery store not far from where I live, there are a group of guys around there that walk around, and they don't really panhandle because they're not asking you for $1. Just give me $1. Like I think it's awesome that they will go around and they will ask you if they can clean your windshields for $1. I mean, they're willing to do something to earn that dollar, which shows me that there's hope for them. So those guys, I'll give them $1 or $2 or even $5, $10, or $20. Whatever I have in my pocket I can spare, I'll give it. But they don't have to work. They don't have to wash my windshield, But that's just because they're willing to work for it. I can respect that. A word strange happened to me. I was in San Antonio, Texas. I go to buy food to this homeless person. He disappeared on me. Interesting. Yep, that's a benefit too. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's crazy. I just feel like that I don't like talking politics because people have their political views and everyone's entitled to what they believe and what they back. But I think there's so much crap going on today. There's so much negativity out there. There's so much hurt, pain, and suffering that an act of kindness needs to be more frequent to counteract that negativity, that negative vibe that is just floating out there. Like, without being political or anything like that, and just being honest, like we've plunged ourselves to where we hate each other, and a lot of things factor into that. Technology blocking our ability to understand human interactions like we used to. Those play a part in it, because people don't judge reactions that good anymore. Like we hate each other. We're surrounded in our home. We're surrounded with technology. And why is Tim Schofield's notification come through? That we don't interact socially anymore to understand a person, to understand facial expressions, to understand body movements. There's too much negative out there. There's too much negative. People will hate somebody else because of their political view, their political support, their religion, their race. It's at an all-time high. And without sounding too cliche or too much like an advertisement, but we do need more love out there. We do need more acts of kindness and positive thinking. The more optimistic you are, the better your universe is. I'll tell you that much right now. Because you are the master of your own universe. You are what's responsible for what goes on around you. Because if you allow things to come close to you, it's because of your decisions it did. But when you put a lot of positive out there, you get a lot of positive back. Maybe in good feeling. Maybe, like that feeling that makes you want to tear up and cry. Just because, for a brief moment, you felt peace, harmony, and happiness. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't care if people want to be trolls about it and say that that's, sissified crap or whatever. It's not. There's nothing wrong with you feeling happy. There's nothing wrong with you feeling joy. That's what we're chasing, right? That's why people go to work and strive hard at their job to get promotions, to move up, right? Because when they get promoted to a newer position, they feel the joy and the happiness that comes from it, that they're able to provide more for their family. And when they can put more on the table for their kids, and if they can give more back to their kids, it gives a sense of pride and joy in their heart and happiness. And if you tear up from that, there's nothing wrong with you for doing that. Everyone's chasing that. Everyone's chasing a form of happiness and joy. Some people find happiness and joy of just not being bound by material things, being free-spirited. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't allow yourself to become numb, especially to another human being. An act of kindness, be the candle in the dark. Yes, exactly. Roberta, exactly. That's great. I dig that. Isaac, what's going on, man? Yes, exactly. We have to be better. We have to come together. The differences from the past, differences, up to current, we have to find common ground to stand on and come together. That's the only way we're going to survive. Because if not, we're going to be torn apart by differences that are very, very minor. Like right now, it would seem major. It would seem major in your eyes right now, but when you take a step back 10, 15 years down the road and you look and you say, wow, I hurt somebody because of that, or I was rude to somebody because of that. Those things are going to they're going to be very minor then, and you're going to feel, like being blunt here, very stupid for doing those things. But I don't care what side of the table you're on. I don't care what your preferences are in life. I don't care what your race is. I don't care about none of that. If you breathe the same air as me, you are my brother and sister, and I love you. And I will do anything to help out if I can. Even if I have nothing, I will give what I can. That's the way the world should work, and we've lost sight of that. We've lost sight of that by being consumed by Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and everything else. We've lost sight of that. An act of kindness, I see a lot done on Twitter, and I kind of question it because it's like, yeah, it's an act of kindness, it's something good, but are you posting it on Twitter for recognition for your own self, or are you trying to share with the world and have them look at that as an example and do something about it? To me, none of my acts of kindness are ever broadcasted because I don't need the world to know that I do it. I know that I do it, and the person that I've done it for knows I've done it for them, and that's all that matters. And I hope that they take that and they do it for somebody else, and that's it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Money doesn't mean crap. I know people will come up and they'll be like, well, you needed to pay your bills, you need to be that. Like, look, all these things that I have, a place to live in, electricity to keep my food cold and run my entertainment stuff, internet to get online and be able to communicate with you guys. Like, all that stuff is fun and good and dandy, okay? But if life took everything away from me, as long as I have my family, my kids, especially my kids, then I'm a king. I will always feel like a king. My family makes me feel good about myself. And if I have nothing, I still have everything. So I will not yield or bend or beg for the almighty dollar. I work and I make it and I use it to provide my kids something better, but I will not be a slave to the dollar. Take it all away from me, and as long as I have my family, I'm happy. If I have nothing, I have nothing. I could be, placed as a martyr in front of the entire world to poke fun of and look at for, being down and everything else like that, and it's not going to kill me because as long as I have my kids' love, that's everything to me. So, yeah, money doesn't mean shit, period. Yeah, I am kind of preaching on this, right? Kind of like, it's an open topic, so it's not always about tech. It's not always about tech. But like these live streams are just basically just to hang out with you guys. Because you guys are my friends. It's like, I don't look at you guys as a number for the channel. I give a shit what my subscriber count is. It can drop to 1 subscriber tomorrow, and I'll still be fine and happy and dandy with it. As long as when I go live and you guys come in to hang out and chat, if I'm not taking up your time, that's great. That's what I enjoy. I know I don't live stream very often, and no, man, you didn't have to do that. You know what? I'm going to take that $20 and give it to somebody. All right? I don't ask for donations. I don't ask for none of that stuff. Just your guys' feedback, you guys hanging out and talking with me, that is everything. And I know it sounds very cliche to say that because there's a lot of people who kind of, mask themselves behind that philosophy and then show something completely different, right? Like Jay Will said something in one of his videos. He was talking about, he was like, there's YouTubers like myself who don't chase after subscriber counts, but then when they reach a certain pinnacle point, they celebrate. And he's right. I don't care about the subscriber count. If I hit 10,000 subscribers, of course I'm going to thank every one of you guys for doing that. But if I went to 10,000 subscribers and then I lost 10,000 subscribers, I'm not going to get on YouTube and be pissed off about it. That's my first time doing it. Oh, well, I really appreciate that, and I'm going to give that to somebody out there who needs it. So, and I'll let them know that it came from you. Because, man, I'm not out here to chase donations. I'm not out here to chase dollars or anything like that. And I'm not knocking down anybody else that does, because everyone comes onto YouTube for a very different reason. There are people that come on YouTube that do this as a living. Wake up with being thankful for your being able to enjoy another breath. If your bad times are really that bad, then get your head out of your book and think about somebody who has. Yes, exactly. You can all, like, everyone always has bad times, right? But we never really stop to think that, how many people out there are doing worse than us. And so kind of use that as a way to turn that frown upside down and be thankful for what you have, reposition yourself in life, and move forward. Yeah, a lot of people need to do that. But as I was saying, I'm not knocking down anybody else who comes on YouTube, and whether they ask for donations or they don't ask for donations, because people have different reasons for being on YouTube. This is fun for me. At one point in time, I took it like it was a job, and I got burned out. And then I came up on YouTube and told everyone that I'm backing away from YouTube for a while and I need to focus on my family, was because I was treating this like a job. Now this is fun. It's fun because it's by my own terms. I don't feel pressure that I have to do something. I just do it because I want to. And because of that very reason, I'm having more fun making videos. I haven't really been too creative, and that's just because I'm thinking of ideas of things to do. And I haven't been live that much, only because there's like a lot of things happening lately that's just kept me very busy. I am going to the Royal Rumble here this month. I'm very excited for that. My brother got me tickets for Christmas to go to that. So I'm going with him and my nephew. We're going to the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to have a good time on that. There's like a lot of things that, has kind of kept me busy, so I don't get to live stream as much as I wish. But yeah, when I do get to live stream and you guys come in here and we just have these topics that just go anywhere it wants to go, it's a lot of fun. I wish I could enjoy things this year. I'm having a bad year so far. Am I in Reno? No, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Oscar. I am too. But you know what? The way life has always worked out, that I've seen it worked out, is that life never travels in a straight line. It always has ups and downs. But just remember that when you feel like that you're at your lowest, when you're like rock bottom, just remember there's only one direction for you to go from there, and that's up. Keep your head up. Think about where you want to be and how you're going to get there. Position yourself and kick life in the ass and move up, because you only got one place to go, and that's up. Just like anyone who has, the highlight of their life, once they reach that very top, that glass ceiling, they're at their pivotal moment, they end up falling. That's because there's only one direction for you to go from that point. And then you find balance in your life where you have ups and downs, but never to a high peak or a low end, and you coast through life. You're riding it like a wave. My whole life felt like I was on a downward slope, but finally things are changing. Yeah, that's great to hear, Made Man. That's very great to hear. Things will always change, As Roberta stated, too, when you feel like that, your year's been bad, your life's been bad, also, take a step back and think, who has it? There are other people out there who have it worse. And it's not to downplay what you feel, because of course, when we're all, hitting our low points, we just feel all that stress, pressure just on the backs of, on our shoulders. We wear our stress on our face, and it shows. But just remember, you're alive. You're alive. You have your family. You have their love and support. All you got to do is just take a moment, take a deep breath, breathe, pivot yourself, find your footing, and take off. Take off like a madman and don't look back. Once you find what you're going to do and how you're going to pull yourself out of it, run like the Dickens and run and don't look back. Push forward, strive hard, break through every barrier, man. Don't let nothing hold you back, because the only thing that stops you is you. Yeah, we're all good. We just have to, the world just has to get to that point where we can all stand as one. We can all, unify. Get rid of these really odd and weird things that we use as a reason to not want to be around somebody, not want to show compassion and love and support for anybody else. We got to get rid of that thinking. We just got to say, we're human. We're all human. We all bleed the same. And I know there's a cliche phrases that you hear a lot of. We all bleed the same. We breathe the same air. But that's the truth about it, though. It doesn't matter what color skin you are, what gender you are, what preference you are in life. That doesn't matter. Sometimes I think people gotta stop looking at other people's life and start looking at their own. Because me, you know, don't judge unless your life is perfect. We're too nosy. Social media has made us nosy. We care more about what other people are going through than what we go through. And then we don't put our real selves out there for anybody on social media. We put what we want them to see us as. Social media has given everybody that ability to wear masks. Something that we weren't able to do before. I mean, yeah, we kind of did. Like when you went on a date for the first time, you never met the real person that you're going on a date with. You met their representative. It wasn't until after that, when you guys got real serious and moved in together, you guys started finding out all these flaws about each other. The way they chew, the way they eat, the types of things they eat, if they pass gas in their sleep, whatever, you find that out after you've met the representative that you went on the first date with. Nowadays, social media has given everybody a mask to wear. And a lot of people have exploited that. Anyone could be what they want. You can make yourself look like you're rich on Instagram, right? You can borrow a friend's jewelry and put it on, stack it on there, right? And look like you're living the high life, and you only got $46 in your checking account. I mean, people could do that nowadays. And people have gotten immersed into that. They've lost sight of who they are. Like, be who you are. Don't be afraid to be who you are. Like, if anyone asks me if I'm very successful, hell no. I'm poor as hell. I'm poor as hell. I live paycheck to paycheck. I barely have enough to scrape up every month, but I'm happy for it because at least my kids get something out of it. At least they can push forward and do better things in life and get to places that I couldn't get to. That's all I want for my kids. My wish and dreams are over. That's why I'm not on social media. I close my Facebook almost as soon as I open. Everyone I couldn't stand in school was adding me, and yes, I think just too nosy. Yeah, my kids they're up to something. I know I'm gonna find. That's my son. I'm sure he's chasing my daughter around, but I'm sure I'm gonna find a destroyed house, which is fine because it's Saturday. Today's my day to clean up the entire house, so it gives me something to do. Do you guys ever hate it when you guys have to like do something like, say you guys gotta clean your home, right? Like touch it up, whatever. And there's not a lot of things to clean up, so it just makes it very boring. But like when you have like a destroyed house, like your kids destroyed your house, time goes by quick when you're cleaning because you have a lot to do. We all are the same. Calling me a wetback because of the way I talk. I get people that make fun of me all the time, Oscar. I get people that comment on old videos and they troll, right? That's one of the things that the internet has given to the masses is the ability to troll, the ability to talk shit about somebody else because you're behind a keyboard and the screen and they can't touch you. You have people like that. I don't entertain a lot of that. Some people have asked me why don't I ever defend myself if somebody comments and says I look like this or I look like that. The reason why I don't defend myself is because what they say is not true about me. So if it's not true about me, I'm not going to entertain it. The only time I feel like that I would have to really defend myself on anything, actually really there's not. I just don't entertain it. Words hurt. Don't get me wrong. Words hurt. If someone called me that word, I know I would get pissed off too, right? But you got to be above that. You got to be better than that, no matter what. Because what they want is a reaction out of you. Because if they get a reaction out of you, they know they have control over you. And if they have control over you, that's what they want. If you don't give them that control, yeah, they're going to get pissed off and they're going to try harder and say more things and more things and more things. Eventually, they're just going to run out of things to say because nothing's affecting you. Yeah, exactly. It's not worth that. It's not worth entertaining. You know what you are, Oscar, and in life, no one can take that away from you but yourself. So, no reason to entertain it. Right, don't let them push your buttons. Well said, warrior. Let's see what this comment says here. I've been getting a lot of comments about the 9.0 update. See, updated it to Android Pie, but I don't have the swipe home action and gestures and also digital well-being. May I know why? Well, I didn't design the operating system, so that's something you got to reach out to Motorola support for. But yeah, I don't know. Unless they have it activated. Digital well-being is like something really weird. I've tried it on my phone and whatnot, and realized that I don't really need it because I don't use my smartphone a lot. Like, I'm not always on it, so really don't need it. Anyways, yeah, so we're pushing an hour. I'm gonna go hang out with my kids because actually we're gonna go ride bikes and scooters today, so I gotta go take them to do that. Thank you guys for coming in and watching the first live stream of 2019. And I'm not gonna make promises that I'm gonna do these more, but I'll try to at least once a weekend. I'll try to. And yeah, more videos coming out and whatnot. Also, I'm not opening up a second channel to vlog. I have IGTV for that. So if you guys are interested in vlogs that I am going to start putting together, they'll be on there for you guys to watch. And because IGTV has limitations of 10 minutes, you'll know that these videos will not go longer than 10 minutes. But yeah, you guys can check it out on IGTV and Instagram. My Instagram is actually open now. I've flipped it to a business account. So you don't have to request to add me. You can just add me, and it's in the description. Tito is a geek is actually my username. You guys want to follow me on Instagram? Go for it. And yes, much blessings to all of you, and to the replay crew, and to everybody on YouTube. 2019 is going to be a better year. I have that feeling. It's going to be a better year. So no matter what, excuse me. No matter what, know that this is going to be a better year, okay? And I love you guys very much. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. So you guys have a great day. Wait. Oh, yeah. Aloha.